Hello, and welcome to Unlocking Real Estate, my first commission, brought to you by Colibri Real Estate. I'm your host, Tina Lapp, and I've been in real estate education for over 30 years. I'm passionate about helping individuals enter and thrive in their careers.
Hey, welcome everybody. I'm Andrew Robinson, also with Colibri Real Estate, and I'm excited that you're joining us for this episode.
If you've been thinking about a career in real estate and need some motivation, this episode is just the one for you. You'll dive into Emily Blake's journey, where she went from a master's degree in education and teaching special education into closing 27 transactions in her first year. Hear about her challenges as she launched her new career, what keeps her motivated and drives her to deliver for her clients. Being recognized as both a Rookie of the Year from RISMedia, as well as a 2024 Super Real Estate Agent locally in Minneapolis, St. Paul, Emily is an exceptional rookie agent. Join us for this inspiring episode to hear about Emily's struggles and her successes.
Welcome to Unlocking Real Estate, My First Commission, where we dive into real stories, big wins, and early lessons learned from highly successful rookie real estate agents and brokers. This is the series where we explore how real estate transforms lives, one home at a time, by sitting down each week with a new agent or broker who has found incredible success in their first year. Your hosts are instructors and leaders at Colibri Real Estate School, one of the largest real estate educators in the nation, where we focus on helping people like you get started or find continued success in their careers.
We are here today with Emily Blake. Emily, will you take a moment to introduce yourself, where you live, and what company you're with?
Absolutely. So I'm Emily Blake. I am with eXp Realty, and we're out of Minnesota, so the Twin Cities.
That is wonderful, Emily. So welcome to the podcast. Let's get to know you a little bit. I'd love for you to tell us what you were doing before you got into real estate.
Absolutely. So prior to real estate, I actually was a special education teacher for 3.5 years. I had my master's in education and then just decided to go out on a whim and get into real estate.
That is amazing. And that took a lot of work to get to that point in your career. So what inspired you to pursue a career in real estate?
I actually had a family friend that was a team leader in real estate. My mom had grown up with him, so it was always kind of in the back of my head. Okay. But I loved education. I loved my students. And actually, after the pandemic, it started to change a little bit. The classroom got a little crazy, and I started to look into other options for a career path and interviewed with my team leader before actually even looking into real estate school. And then after that meeting, he really convinced me that I just needed to give it a shot. So I actually started this school year teaching and decided to get my real estate license while teaching. And once I did that, I started and just needed to dive all in.
That's great. So a little bit of your mother being an influence, contact with a real estate company certainly influenced that. And post-pandemic, was there something about real estate that when he talked to you and told you about it that really influenced you and said, yes, now after post-pandemic and all these changes, like this is what's attracting me to the real estate industry?
Yes. So it's actually such a relationship-based industry that I wasn't really thinking about, right? But being in education prior, it really showcases, and Chris is my team lead's name. Chris was like, you're such a people person and you're so good at relationship building that, it could be really beneficial in a real estate career.
That's awesome. So you were teaching and then you decided to go back to school yet again to get your real estate license. What was that like? Did you go in the evenings? Like, what was your process?
Yeah, great question. So I was teaching full time, and a lot of my job as an educator needed me to work outside of school hours as well. So I was truly just doing online real estate school whenever I could, whenever I had a free moment. So I was doing it at night, on my prep, or on the weekends, whenever I could.
Okay, no, that's understandable when you're as busy as you were. About how long did it take?
Probably 3 months, but I worked really hard on it there for a while.
3 months is pretty fast, so that's
Mhm.
impressive. On your own, in your spare time. When you decided to get your real estate license, how did you pick a school?
So actually, I had no idea which school to choose. I knew I just needed to do it online full time, so in a school that worked at my pace. So I just did some research and ended up going with CE Shop, but wasn't directed in that way at all, just kind of chose.
Oh, that makes sense. I mean, how would you know, right? If you're not familiar with the local school down the street, how do you choose?
Hmm.
And CE Shop is a great choice. Um, was there? I mean, it sounds like you just kind of picked and that was your decision.
Hmm.
What other challenges besides time time management did you face getting through the education and licensing process?
So, I mean, real estate is a whole new career, and actually just comprehending everything was challenging for me when I needed to be in so many different mindsets at one time. So I think just actually getting to know the materials was something that challenged me a little bit.
Yeah, that's so true, Emily. Like real estate is a whole new world. And you look at you, you have your master's degree in education, you're going through all of this, and then going into real estate, that's got to be a challenge going through. So, as you were going through the process, what were your expectations for your first year? What did you think would happen?
So, coming from education, I just set the goal that if I made as much money as I did as a teacher, which isn't that much, I would be okay, because I knew it was going to be a crazy year of just learning
Yeah.
all about real estate and
Mhm.
making sure that I am doing everything right, because it's such a huge transaction for individuals and there's so much that you need to know. So as long as I was learning and, making as much as I was as an educator, I told myself I would be happy.
Yeah, and it's generally hard your first year because you are
Mhm.
learning and you are doing transactions for the first time, trying to figure out your way. So as you enter now, you've got your license, you enter the career. Anything that's memorable, that stands out, maybe funny from your early days while you were still learning?
Yes. So people ask me this, and I'm completely honest about it, that it is emotional. And I cried so much, just because it's a really hard transition getting into real estate. And a lot of times people think it's just going to be great and it's going to be easy, and it's really difficult, and you have to be super ambitious.
Yeah, I for sure. And those things, like anything worth getting, is a lot of work and can beat down on you. Do you remember anything in particular that really just got to you during your first year that you worked through?
Yeah, so honestly, just getting clients to want to work with you and trust you when you're brand new is super difficult, because sometimes you're not as confident when you're first meeting people and going through buyer consultations, open houses, phone calls, and it can be really hard to stay positive when you're not gaining as much clients as maybe the agent that's working next to you in your office. And just to wake up and keep doing it and not give up is hard.
Yeah.
But worth it.
I was going to say, and you did it. So, are there certain people, was there a support system you relied on that helped you navigate that first year?
Yeah, so I am on a team, and I actually had a mentor within the team, and that was so important after graduating real estate school and getting into the industry, because you constantly have questions and want to make sure you're doing everything to the best of your ability, and following and learning from an expert is what everybody needs, I think.
Oh, completely. It's so helpful to have somebody there with you. And, it's scary, right? You're starting off something new. Did you start as a real estate agent while you were still a teacher, or did you end the one and then start the other?
Yeah, so I taught for about 3 months while I finished my real estate school right when I was done educating for the year. So I kind of timed it right.
So then you basically went into the summer and you started as a real estate agent. What were some of your biggest challenges besides confidence when you got started? I mean, you talked about finding clients. What was that like?
So yes, cold calling was very difficult for me. People don't think you need to do that, but you should, just so you get comfortable with the real estate lingo too, and finding business. So I would do a lot of scripting with my team. That was helpful. Open houses, just really attracting the business. Starting your own brand and doing social media was something that I had a learning curve for as well. So,
So your team sounds like helped you some with the scripting and getting you in some open houses. I'm curious, did any of your first customers come from your own network, like from your time as a teacher or anything like that?
Absolutely. My first client was my own sphere, and I've had just a ton of my own sphere that I'm blessed to have, which again, I think it's such a relationship-based industry that if you care about your people, then they're going to trust you when they're looking to buy and sell.
So in leaning in and having that team support, just tremendous. That's wonderful. I'm sure they helped get you through without a doubt. You did some open houses, you did some scripting. What else from a marketing perspective was particularly successful for you?
So my main pillar my first year was open houses. I had tried to do 5 or 6 a week. So it was really just, making sure I'm holding the open house on a newer listing, making sure I'm doing it at a good time and day, and then just keep doing them. Just really putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
And then another pillar I had was social media. So I was just really building up my social media, and it's still a work in progress, but that was another pillar for me.
Okay. And other than marketing, how did you position yourself, being a relatively new agent, how did you position yourself to earn clients?
So I really value going above and beyond for my clients. So I was really making sure that every client I had the opportunity to connect with. I was making sure I was providing resources, sitting down and doing a buyer consultation. So it wasn't just, hey, you want to go look at houses, when they have no idea about the actual process of buying. So really trying to provide value and go out of my way compared to maybe other realtors that I could be competing against.
I love it. That's fantastic. Just making yourself a brand and sticking behind it and being a resource for your agents, for your clients. Just wonderful. Did you target outside of your initial sphere, that your friends and family and so on? Did you target a specific audience? Certainly, people at open houses. Anyone else? Was there a specific audience that you sort of targeted?
Sure. So a lot of my sphere is first-time home buyers. So I really grew passionate about working with first-time home buyers, especially being in education. So I could, help them educate and learn throughout the process. I also got really lucky and met a few investors. So I've kind of dove into that world of real estate, working with investors as well.
How did you build a relationship with those investors?
Oh gosh. So, well, it's, things just happen, and it's the people really. So I was at a coffee shop and giving a buyer consultation to a first-time home buyer. And, I can talk to anybody. So after that, the gentleman sitting next to me was actually an investor, and he was like, wow, that was incredible. I haven't heard of a realtor doing that much of an in-depth presentation to a first-time home buyer in so long. And from there, he just kind of taught me about their portfolio and what his group does. And then I slowly started to get listings of theirs and just kind of trusted me.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. I mean, I'm getting, goosebumps just hearing your story. Do you have any other interesting client interactions that stand out from your first year that you want to share with us?
Sure. So I have one that's top of mind. It makes me emotional a little bit. But so I met this woman who wanted to downsize at an open house. And we had just chatted when she came in, not really much about real estate, to be honest. And she kind of told me her story and her background. And then after about an hour, she finally just asked me, she was like, I don't have a realtor at the moment, and I love this home. She already knew everything about the home before coming, and she asked me to write an offer for her. So I was like, whoa, usually open houses don't go that well. So I was like, absolutely, so excited. So I connected with her lender, and the next day went over to her house because she actually needed to sell her property then to buy. So it was a buy-sell for me, and it was actually a really rewarding story because she was a single elderly woman and she had a lot of health complications. And so I was actually a support for her throughout the whole process with cleaning her house and emotional support, crying together. I was actually there directing the movers while she was closing on the home. So it was just little things like that keep you going in the hard times of real estate.
Oh, no, that's a great story. And did you get her into the open house home?
Actually, no. So we didn't get that property for her, but we found an even better one. So it always happens the way it's supposed to. But yeah.
Oh, that's great. So you've had this incredible journey through your first year of real estate, and it sounds like you're not looking back, right? You're just looking forward. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Oh, that's a good question. So, I mean, probably I want to add to my own portfolio. So get some more investments under my belt. And then, if I look back and I have built my business in 5 years off of client referrals and, just little things like receiving letters from my clients in the mail still, I will be happy.
Oh, it's good. I mean, it sounds like you like to set your sights low and then massively overachieve.
Yes, and we'll tell you that.
Do you have any tips or tricks? I mean, I like the open house idea that you would give to other aspiring real estate agents who are just getting started.
Yeah, so again, as an agent, you're probably always competing with another agent is a good way to think. So just going out of your way, bringing flowers to a listing appointment or getting coffee before you meet somebody for the first time at a buyer consultation, little things that, one, make them remember you, and two, that you're showing them that you're going to go the extra mile for them. And then something else that I think has helped me is asking questions to other agents and making sure that you're providing the best knowledge to your clients.
I meant to ask you, and you had talked about giving that buyer presentation in the coffee shop. Did you do any buyer presentations to a broader audience of first-time home buyers?
I haven't, no.
Okay.
Yeah, I would love to, but I haven't.
Okay. You were a teacher, and so I thought, like teaching a bunch of people who might be interested.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's great. Like, this is a great story, and I understand, you're continuing. Your second year is even better than your first, so congratulations on that. We're going to jump into the lightning round. I'm going to ask you some questions, maybe a little more personal about you, so our audience can learn a little bit more about Emily and her day-to-day and who she is. So I guess my first question I'd love to ask you about, in addition to the 2024 Rookie of the Year recognized by RISMedia, you were also recognized as the 2024 Super Real Estate Agent. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. So that's something in Minnesota that other agents can nominate agents to be qualified for. And then I believe it's in the St. Paul, Minneapolis magazine. So we just get a little bit of recognition in that magazine.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Mm-hmm. Congratulations on that recognition in your local market and for your national recognition. So tell us about a book you've read that you'd recommend for the audience. It can be real estate related, or it doesn't have to be.
So I have to admit, I'm not really a reader. I'm more of a podcast girl.
Okay,
so
love it.
I can share a pod. Well, so my first year of real estate, I have this vivid memory. Every morning I would drive into the office and I would put on motivational speaker. Just to, get going in the morning and keep you motivated to go out and make cold calls and try to find business and keep going, because it's really difficult. So motivational speeches.
Yeah, that's a great recommendation. And real estate or not, I think that's helpful for a lot of individuals. So great advice. If we had a time machine, you can go back to the day you started this journey. What advice would you give yourself?
Get a therapist. No, in the best way. It's so helpful. I think it would be for me to just gain more confidence as an agent and know that, you're not crazy to just be doing the same thing over and over, cold calling. And yeah, I think just getting a therapist.
Yeah, well, and it sounds like what keeps you going is when you do connect with the individuals and you build those relationships and you get more business from that, and you're actually helping people. Do you think that's accurate? It sounds like that's something that really keeps you motivated.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'm not motivated by money or anything. So it's definitely the people.
It's a people business. There's no doubt. If you could have dinner with one person, dead or alive, who would it be and why?
So, I don't know if y'all are familiar with Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. It's on Netflix, but it's hosted by Jerry Seinfeld. And I just think that it is such a lovely show just to sit down and chat with a comedian and just be carefree. So either Jerry Seinfeld, because he's funny, or Glennon Doyle. She's an inspirational figure. She has a podcast and she devotes her life essentially to just helping other people be heard where they are at in their lives, essentially. So Glennon Doyle or Jerry Seinfeld.
And that's great. We could all use a little motivation and some comic relief all at the same time, right?
I love it.
I do too. So maybe not yesterday, but on a typical day, maybe it is yesterday, what'd you do at work? Tell me about a day in the life of Emily.
Yeah, so yesterday is actually Sunday in real time. So weekends are pretty busy in real estate. So I'll usually try to have a couple opens on a Saturday or Sunday. And then yesterday, actually, I had showings in the evening. So I did showings and then found some comparable properties to send to my clients after. So, we make sure we're not gonna offer too much or they know the neighborhood, and just again providing that value to the client.
That's great. It sounds like a good day when you're busy in real estate. That sounds like a good day. Emily, where can listeners stay connected to you, follow your journey, find you on social?
Probably Instagram. So it would be Emily Blake _ Realtor.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Emily, for spending time with us today and telling us about your journey. You had some really good tips and tricks, and it was exciting to hear about your success in your first year and your continuing success.
Of course. Thank you so much.
Thanks for tuning in to Unlocking Real Estate, My First Commission. We hope today's stories and insights inspired you to take that next step in your real estate journey. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an episode, or head over to our channel to see some of the other content we've produced. We'd also love to hear from you. Drop a comment below with your biggest takeaway or a question for our next guest. If you have a recommendation for someone we should interview, please send a note to UnlockingRealEstate at ColibriRealEstate.com.